What's up? It's Tom. Thanks for being here on Saints opening day, and I have great news for you. The St. Paul Saints are undefeated. The Saints won 4-2. Your favorite baseball team and mine, the St. Paul Saints. We're gonna win, Saints. We're gonna score. We're gonna win, Saints. Watch that baseball song. Okay. Saints won 4-2. Their opener in Indianapolis. The Twins were off today, Friday. Kind of have that goofy opening schedule, but they will be playing at 3:05 tomorrow. The other affiliates, none of the other affiliates are playing yet. They will start up next week. So for now, we're just talking about the Saints in these system recaps. And then another note, Walker Jenkins. You may have seen, if you were browsing the box score, that he was pinch hit for in the bottom of the eighth, or top of the eighth inning, excuse me. That was planned. That was precautionary, if you want to say planned, however you want to put it. He is still working his way back from a hamstring injury. So he is not, I was actually surprised he played the field. So that was expected. No need to overreact to that. So speaking of which Jenkins did play the field, I was thinking he would be active, but probably DHing. But here is what the opening day lineup looked like. And, you know, my first reaction was, a little bit surprised that the prospects are up top and the veteran guys are more in the middle and down lower. I mean, that's how I like to see that. But I'd be curious so Brian Dinkelman is the new Saints manager. He was the Wind Surge managers last year and the Colonels manager for a handful of years before that. So this is his first time managing in AAA. I have a hunch, I can't really prove anything, but I have a hunch if this was Toby Gardenhire, this lineup would have been a little bit different, and it'll be interesting to see how Brian Dinkelman handles a AAA team, a AAA clubhouse. Nobody wants to be in AAA, the prospects or the veterans, but especially the veterans. And, you know, depending on the guy, depending on the clubhouse, some of these guys you kind of have to take care of before they become problems and not fun to be around, and then make it not fun for the prospects to be there, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's definitely more of a factor in AAA, and obviously if you're in AA, high A, you're not really dealing with that. You're not having a bunch of former major leaguers or guys who thought they were going to be in the majors or thought that they should be in the majors, so that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. But Jenkins did play center field. Gabby Gonzalez, DH, Kaelen Culpepper, his AAA debut. Manuel Rodriguez, the cleanup guy, and then Roden, Arcia, Wagaman, Kreidler, Jackson, all those guys on the with major league experience, I should say. All but Arcia are on the 40-man. And Connor Prielipp got the start today, and something we're stealing from hockey. In case you missed the prospect breakout game, I'm doing 3 stars of the day. This is going to get a lot more difficult once we're talking about 4 games, but easy calls tonight, at least for the 3. Maybe you could debate the order, but 3rd star for tonight was Connor Prielipp, and we'll get into these stats in just a moment once we reveal these. 2nd star was Kaelen Culpepper, and the star of the game, the 1st star was Alan Roden. So let's get into why these guys stood out in this Saints victory. Connor Prielipp, 4 innings, 61 pitches. Now, usually that would be maybe even like a little bit disappointing for a starting pitcher, but for Connor Prielipp, I think that's great, and especially considering how this outing started. But Prielipp did not complete 4 innings in a game last year until early May. I think it was his 5th or 6th start of the year that he didn't. So for him, you know, you have to kind of look at things through a different lens for him. And I think this is a nice way to see him start out. And especially since his first inning, it was the only inning he gave up a run. He was lights out after that, and he threw 27 27 pitches, in the first inning alone. And this is the kind of thing that you would see from Prielipp last year, and he just kind of wouldn't get it back, and it would be like a 2 or 3 inning outing. But he got it back together, and it's a cold, early season game. It's cold out there. Obviously, he's a Midwest guy. He's used to that kind of stuff. But again, really encouraged with how he bounced back and looked really good from innings 2 through 3. 1 run, 1 hit, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts for Connor Prielipp, maxed out at 97. Fastball, slider, changeup are sort of his bread and butter, but he's working on this curveball and his sinker through 10 curveballs and 2 sinkers, and can really spin that curveball. His slider, very special spin rates on his slider. His curveball has some good ones too. So a nice first outing for Connor Prielipp. A scary first inning a little bit. It felt like his command wasn't there. and it felt like this was not going to go well, and it was great to see him bounce back. Kaelen Culpepper is the second star in his AAA debut. He goes 3 for 5 with a run and a run batted in. Of his 3 hits, 104.1 was the max exit velo. Looked good at shortstop. Really nothing too noteworthy to call out defensively, but a nice performance again in his first game in AAA with the Saints. So I know, and a victory. So great to see from Kaelen Culpepper. First star, Alan Roden. Really doesn't have anything left to prove in AAA, and he's acting like it. 1 for 1 with 4 walks. So he reached in all 5 of his plate appearances tonight. 2 runs batted in. That was a bases loaded single up the middle that scored 2 runs to open the scoring in the top of the first inning. It was also nice to give Connor Prielipp some wiggle room. He took the mound with a 3-0 lead, so he was caught stealing. You see a lot of dirt on him. He was thrown out trying to steal. But Alan Roden, who was the left fielder tonight, with Jenkins in center and Rodriguez in right field. Some honorable mentions. We'll also do these. I'm going to do up to 5. So on a usual night, I think there's going to be no problem getting to 5. Tonight, I'm only going to go with 3, and we'll give some of these middle relievers a tip of our cap, since we're probably not going to be able to do that on most nights. After Prielipp left, Raul Brito, who came over, all 3 of these guys were minor league signings, actually. So Brito, if you don't recognize that name, it's because he's newer to the org. Came in and delivered 2 2/3 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Took care of business. A lot of these middle guys that take over for a starter, you don't get a lot of long starts into the minors, and some of these middle guys just are a mess and can't find the zone, and it really makes watching these games pretty terrible to be honest. And so when that doesn't happen, as someone who watches a lot of games in the minors, you appreciate that. And this was a pretty clean game, all things considering. Even for AAA, there's some nasty games. And then Dan Altavilla pitched the 8th, and Matt Bowman pitched the 9th. I think there's a great chance we'll see both of those guys on the Twins this year. Neither of them are on the 40-man roster, but you know how many pitchers get injured, and boy, this Twins bullpen looks like it could be a revolving door. So on this sort of 3 stars ideas, I've also established a scoring system. So we're going to keep track of this. It's weird, just play along. If you're into this, let's go. If you're not into this, just humor me and play along. So first star of the night gets 5 points, second star gets 3, third star gets 2, and then any honorable mentions get 1. And we do have some stars. This is the star scoreboard. I'm going to have the top 10 guys. We'll do this throughout the season. We did have that prospect breakout game that I did this format with. So those are the guys who are, Dason Hill was the first star of that game. So those are your leaders as of now. Of course, this will get more fun as we get into the season. So come on back and keep hanging out here with me with these Twin System recaps. What do you think of this format? I know it's different from the past. No highlights. We'll be sharing highlights over at Limestone Pipeline twice a week. But this is kind of a compromise. I figured where I could continue to do the system recaps on YouTube in a different format without, having people mad at me for putting highlights on YouTube. So, again, if you want highlights, go check them out on Limestone Pipeline. I'll be posting them over there. But hopefully you appreciated this here and had some fun. But let me know what you think. What do you like? What do you don't like? Saints win. Saints undefeated in 2026.